Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. If all those that can stand, please do so for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Howe is missing for the time being until he might join us before too far down the road.
All right. Item number 4, approval of the agenda. There's we passed out a thing from HCI. It's for a demolition, and
What's the motion for?
this is for, so we didn't have to print all the pictures, I'll pass it down your way and you can pass it back. This is a property that is, has been vacant like that for well over a year and a half. It's a very close neighborhood. He's letting the property, he's not gonna demolish it, so it's one of the deals where we need to, the township is gonna have to be responsible for taking it down. So that's what's sitting in the neighborhood, and the neighbors have to sit next to.
And
So I want
just
to,
add it to the tax rolls?
yeah, so I want to add that to the agenda as item 7E. Then I have one other item. I need to ask a question. Now, Trevor, you're gonna,
Yes.
and Jen, you're gonna, okay.
Yep.
In the consent agenda, under item B, for an appointment, Jennifer Von Buskirk is withdrawing her request to be on the DDA. So Trevor will be the one on that. So it'll be just one individual. All right, motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda with the amended changes, amendments.
Support.
Moved and supported.
All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Same sign, or, motion carries.
All right, item 6. No, right.
Consent agenda.
We're gonna do consent agenda. Consent agenda approval.
I would move to approve the consent agenda as presented with corrections, sorry.
Support.
Moved and supported. Vote please.
All right. Mrs. Chenoweth?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, announcements and information inquiry. This weekend, Saturday, we're having the hazardous waste day, so if you have anything in your, on your property or in your house that you need to get rid of, the one item that you will have to pay for to get rid of is tires. That's a separate contract that they'll be there to take those. But it'll be at Milford High School. It'll be in the parking lot that services the football fields and the bus garage. And we'll have people to direct.
Off of Lone Tree.
You come in off of Watkins Boulevard, not Lone Tree. And we'll have signs and everything to make it very clear where to go, and we'll have people there to direct you. And if you went to last year's, this should be smoother. And the reason we moved it to the high school was because we had people piling up on M59 and, you know, too dangerous. And so, and we have Kim Root from the school board that is, we appreciate very much being able to move it there because it makes a lot more sense for everybody.
It's a lot more space there.
And it's another thing that we're doing together as a community, and we really appreciate that. So, and there's a lot happening that day at the high school, so it turned out way more than everybody thought.
So it's like if we come after 12, then we bring it to your house directly.
There will be a considerable upcharge if you do that.
So that's from, 8 to 12, April 29th. Yeah, that's, we pay by the car. The township pays for this, and you pay by the car. So, what happens is if you can carpool, get several neighbors together and put it all in one car, it, saves a lot of money, doing it that way. So it's like $47 a car. So you wanna be as efficient as possible. We'll have, probably one of our pickup trucks there, so people who have minimal amount, a couple of paint cans or whatever, we'll put that in the truck and we'll take that through that way. So we'll have that, handled, but, be sure to clean out your closets and, bring it in on Saturday, rain or shine. So, some of us will have fun if it's sunny and we won't if it's raining, so. Next item, Highland Community Prayer Breakfast. This is gonna be at the Highland United Methodist Church on May 4th. That's a Thursday at 8 a.m. and there's tickets available, they're $10 a piece. And that's on the
HWLBA website, or else in the treasurer clerk's office here.
So if you wanna get tickets, you can, come into our treasurer's office or the clerk's office, or go to the, Business Association and get them off the website. Next item, today we have an Eagle Scout who has a, project that, he'd like to present to us, and hopefully the board will, approve his, program. Ryan, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry I'm late. Track meet, 107 middle school kids.
So at this moment, we've got Dawson Innes, who's our Eagle Scout, and we'll let him carry forward this presentation.
Hello, I'm Dawson Innes. I'd first like to thank the board for allowing me to present my project idea. I'm working on my Eagle project. It's to help the veterans, to improve the Veterans Memorial just outside. I wanted to do this because veterans are they're very like close to me in my heart. They've served, they've given life, limb, you know, everything for our country to keep us free, and I just wanted to give back and thank them. So basically what I'm doing for my project, I'm going to install 6 flagpoles. I'm going to purchase flags, and I'm going to install like a hedge wall behind the flags. Currently the park has 2 flags, an American flag and a prisoner of war flag, 4 benches. And 2 flower beds.
You're almost done with it.
Here's a current picture. This is a drawing that I did. It's two scale at a 2 inch or 1 centimeter per 2 feet. The circles, the Sharpie circles are where going to be the flags are, and the hedge thing right there is the hedge. And then this is a Photoshop picture that I did to show what it will hopefully look like. I've broken it up into 2 phases because of the cost. So for the first phase, I'm going to be installing the 6 flagpoles. They're going to have aluminum with a clear coat. They're going to be about 15 feet. The max wind speed is 70 miles per hour. Unflagged, and unflagged is 110. And they can fly a 3x5 flag, and for all 6 of them, the estimated cost is $2,600. For the flags, the American flag is a little tattered, so I'd like to replace that. There's no state of Michigan flag, so I figured that would be something that you may want. And I'm also going to get an Army flag, a Marine Corps flag, a Navy flag, an Air Force flag, a Coast Guard flag, and then also replace the prisoner of war flag. That will cost about $400. And there's just the first phase of the project. The second phase will include purchasing and installing the arborvitaes for the hedge wall, and that will be about $375. So combined, it's going to be about $3,375. And here's like kind of the highlighted. image of what the project will look, what's being installed in the project. And so I have to raise the funds for the project myself, and what means I'm gonna go about doing that is going door to door to residents in the community asking for bottles, so I can do a bottle drive, just donations, or reaching out on social media for donations. Donations from my scout troop, donations from local businesses, and potentially contacting local veterans groups for assistance. Here's the full image. And that's what I have.
Good job.
We're out of South Lyon.
Okay.
They did a spectacular job of the Photoshop work and everything else, so I'm excited about that. So I think what we need to do as a board is to, authorize the, I would hope I guess we can make a motion to,
Discussion, huh?
if anybody has any discussion?
Well, my only concern is it looks wonderful, but the 6-foot tall hedge now, we have concerts in the park there, and I'm thinking that might interfere with that, and we may need to lower the hedge.
Yeah, we did take that into account with the stage also being Eagle Project. I don't wanna mess with that. So from where the hedge will end, it's about 33 feet from the stage. So I don't know if that's not enough, but that might be something that we might work on,
Yeah.
trying to figure out that.
Might be an alternative, something else that might be an alternative. Okay.
We can go with a lower hedge,
Yeah.
that doesn't go quite as tall. But the concept is excellent, and you did a very good job on it. I appreciate it.
I have a question about the lighting. Are there any plans for lighting the flags?
Not currently, but that may be something that can be taken into account, that we can add that.
We'll need a light, but
Okay.
Yeah, we
It's a
will,
requirement is the.
we'll install the electrical for that, so,
Who's we?
the township. The electricity's there, it's just a short
we'll
run
run
to
on wire to the area and we'll light it up there.
Any other questions?
Are you gonna go to the Shark Tank then for another presentation?
I got a good enough idea.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good, yeah.
Thank you for your job.
So I guess we should, at least acknowledge that we did an approval, so, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the Eagle Scout to proceed with phase 1 and phase 2 with possible modifications. That was a motion.
Support?
Okay, moved and supported. Roll, please.
Let's see, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same.
Don't we have to have a roll call with the spending money?
We're not gonna be spending money.
I believe if we were going to do the spending the money for late, I believe we would do that as a separate action. Are you satisfied with the voting step been done? Oh.
Yep.
Motion carries.
We'll get the lighting donated, whatever that is. It will work. Thank you, Dawson, appreciate it very much, and very impressed with your presentation. All right, the next item, public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, on March 29th, 2017, a meeting was held which opened the conversation on medical marijuana facilities in Highland, excuse me, and asked for community input. 59 West graciously provided their facility, and Mr. Morris of the Cannabis Legal Group gave a presentation followed by questions and answers. What was not presented at this time were any other perspectives on this issue. Prior to the meeting, I received phone calls and emails from Highland residents expressing their concerns and opposition to these facilities in Highland. At the meeting, several people requested information from other perspectives. Since that meeting, I've received letters and additional emails expressing opposition and an interest in information from other authorities. In response, I have researched and made several inquiries on a speaker to give another perspective. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office, Huron Valley Coalition, and Mr. Massey of Brighton Center for Recovery are all willing and ready to provide information on medical marijuana facilities to our community. I am requesting that we set a date to hold another community meeting at 59 West per their approval. And I believe we owe our community this opportunity, and I, as a trustee representing the people of Highland, want to hear their input.
So,
When can you be there? What's a good time, a month, during the month, what, for the public?
Not over the holiday season, not over the holiday, Memorial Weekend, you wanna go before that.
Before that. Matt, do you have anything about the sheriff's department that would be, that you would know?
All I can tell you is, we have a state and federal coordinator that works for our sheriff down in our headquarters. Works, closely with the state, and, what she has done is she's produced a PowerPoint that other communities have, seen. I'm not an expert in it. But we do have a narcotics unit that is probably more familiar with some issues, and I know our department is going to come out with a PowerPoint, and somebody who's a little bit more knowledgeable about the laws and what the impacts might be for the community, at least give their perspective to it. They're willing to do it. I would have to coordinate it, so if it's something that you guys want to set up a meeting date, just let me know, and I can coordinate that.
Well, I think what we should do is, have a discussion about a date, pick a date, get with, 59 West, because we don't know what their schedule is.
Right.
And then what we will do is announce it via every aspect we can. What's the date of your next Highland edition?
I have two in May, so, May 10th and roughly what last Wednesday is, and, so maybe, it depends, if we're gonna do it Memorial Day, we'd have to get that to me pretty soon.
Okay, we're probably gonna have to push for the latter in order to make sure we get everybody on board, and it would probably end up in June sometime. And so we'll set those dates up and then get it out. It'll be on our website, it'll be on our Facebook page, it'll be announced probably on Highland Matters, it'll be in the final column Highland edition. And if you have any questions, you can call the Township Hall, my office, and we can fill you in there too. But, so I think we've got enough avenues that everybody should be able to find out. So we'll get that set up.
Okay, so
Great
did
idea.
you want me to contact 59 West for a date, or?
I'll do the 59 West thing, cause I seem to be pretty good at getting it
Okay.
donated. They've been very good about that, so, if you wanna contact the contacts that you've made there and set those dates, try and look at dates in June. And, so we'll go for the, date we can do it first and find out when it's available. And go from there.
Okay.
All right.
I wanna thank
Additional
Mrs.
public comment, is that?
Yes, no, we're not done yet. so,
Okay.
I just wanted to thank Mrs. Chanel for doing that. I also received a lot of emails and phone calls, and I think it's really important that we get the other side to this question, for the board too.
Right.
Sure.
Kim?
I'll just step over here to the side. I'm here in a sort of unofficial capacity. My name is Kim Rutt, and I am the Director of Communications and Community Relations for Huron Valley Schools, but I also serve as a board member on the Huron Valley Community Coalition. My husband is actually in the UP this evening, otherwise he would be here addressing you tonight. He's the director of the Huron Valley Community Coalition. We also are residents of Highland. We live at 3791 Heritage Farms Drive. And I support Mrs. Schnauz's notion of an additional meeting, because our concern in the Huron Valley Community Coalition is foremost the youth of this community. Our guiding mission is to implement strategies that keep young people away from substances, and frankly, marijuana is one of those substances. We believe that any business or any associated business with marijuana diminishes the risk associated with that substance. We know that when kids see that as something that's acceptable among all of us, that they're much more likely to take advantage and use those substances. So I would encourage extreme caution among this board when considering any type of business associated with this substance, frankly, marijuana. I have 5 children. I am a proud mother of a U.S. Air Force pilot, and quite frankly, I've been very lucky as a mom not to have my kids involved with substances, but a lot of people in this community cannot say that. So as an administrator in our schools, as a board member of the Huron Valley Community Coalition, I would just encourage extreme caution. Tonight I also brought some information that I'll share with the board. This is supplied by the U.S. Department of Justice and the Drug Enforcement Administration, and it speaks specifically to preventing marijuana use among youth and young adults. And I think it's great information, and I'll share this, a number of copies with this board, and then leave a few in the back as well.
I'd personally like to make a comment about the, so that the public understands that we're not here to try and convert this community into an operation that isn't truly beneficial to the community. And I'm a little bit upset with the fact that the state of Michigan chose a really cheesy way of limiting their responsibility to handle these things, and the way they did it is they passed all these laws and made this thing, you know, legal and ready to roll, and then they said, well, we're gonna make the townships and the cities decide what they're gonna do. Should have been done at Lansing's level. It probably would have never passed in the first place if they'd have taken that approach. And so we as a board have to look at this and say, look at it from every aspect. So please don't make any prejudgments about what you think we think, because I think you might be wrong in a lot of scenarios. If you think we're going forward with it, that's my opinion, but we have to really look at this very strongly, and I think one of the things that bothers me the most is that our township is named Highland. And the last thing I wanna see is that's what we're laughed about. So it's really a critical thing to be looking at these things from those perspectives, but also from what are we talking about? Kim, great points of view with the product. You know, what it's federally, it's illegal. You know, we're doing all these goofy things to try and we're circumventing the federal law. And so that's my opinion. That's still under public comment. So I'm gonna let somebody else have that in public comment.
Well, she had her hand up first, go ahead.
Yeah, Lynn Hansford, 1528 Middle Road, and I just want to support Trustee Chanel on this topic. I'd also like to offer my time and assistance in anything that you might need organizing. Some of the things I thought about here is, in addition to the departments that you're interested in having come to the 59 West meeting, is maybe we should consider having Jim Runstead come in, since he was at the state level and actively involved in, you know, passing this law. And maybe we should have somebody from the federal government there as well. I mean, there's possibility that, you know, get that other perspective out there. So
Like Senator Cole.
if you have, if you need any help, I'd like to offer my time, you know, assisting you with any contacts and things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Donna Hubbard. My question would be, we talked at the last meeting about sending a survey out with the tax bill.
Yes.
And how is that now gonna coincide with this presentation? I think this presentation should come before those notices go out for a tax bill.
It will. The tax bills go out in July.
Okay.
So this will happen beforehand, you know, so that people can have, I think we all have our own perspectives, there's no doubt about that, but it is right to, you know, and what I want everybody to know is the previous one was just about explaining the law. And that's why that was brought forward. This is what our state government did to us. Here's the law. Now what do we do? That's the question. Now what do we do? We don't have to do anything. That is the single easiest choice, but we do need to discuss it. And because I think what it does is it makes the community probably stronger by voicing itself. And there's people that, who think it's a great idea, and to me, it's just a big, giant dollar sign. And so what are we really after? Are we after dollars? Are we after common sense? So that'll be our job as administrators here to make that decision. Where do we want to be? I think the whole thing's been pushed for dollars, and I don't know that that's the right direction. But we'll get to that after we get our comments back from the public, and I don't think you'll be upset with anything that we do. So, yes, in the back?
Just a comment to agree with what you were saying about what the state of Michigan has done. Monroe also has crossed that path of whether or not they should do that. And they decided because of the disorganization among the state level that they did not want it either. So just to agree with what you were saying.
Your name and address, please?
Sherry Belanti, 3197 Beaumont Drive.
Thank you. Any other public comment, Mr.?
Today on the radio driving, there was an interesting news article that they're finding that marijuana and opioids are now causing more accidents related more than alcohol. And the bad thing is that they really can't detect it. I'm sure the all the officers know about that. So that it's not, it's far deeper than just even our community, because they start using it, they're driving somewhere. I mean, I have some other personal thoughts why I'm against it, and I'll share those later. So that's a glaring problem in traffic.
Okay. Any other public comments?
Yes, Janine Rakowski. Although you were voted in, I believe if this does come to Highland, I would be really upset if I didn't get to vote it on a ballot. So I would like to see, if it comes to that, and you were going to allow it, I want it on the ballot before you allow it.
Is that a demand?
Kinda.
We're looking at each other, and I know where you're
I've lived here
coming
41
from.
years, and I really like it here, and I do not want it destroyed.
I think that's one of the neat things about our communities. We all really like it here, and we want to be able to, engage all with the same level of common sense. So this is a very difficult topic. I think it is something that needs to be discussed. It shouldn't be kept in the closet, and it should be, if you got something to say, bark it out, when you have to. Don't feel bad about hurting our feelings whatsoever. We are here to make decisions to help you. So we are responsible for that. So other public comments?
Okay, Mary Pat, you got me. 3974 Lock, if you need some help, give me a call. Thank you. I just signed up for the road thing for Highland Hills.
Yes, you did.
What's one more thing?
Well, this is volunteerism. This is what we're looking for. We need
Yeah,
this.
but a lot of volunteers.
So, Bill, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Way in the back?
James Brennan, 2466 Amelia. I just wanted to say thank you to Dawson for doing something for our veterans. They are what keep our communities around and keep our country safe. And to do what you're doing is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir.
My name is Henry Nedza. I live at 6019 Fish Lake Road. And we've got a little bit of a problem. And it's not a little problem, it's a problem that's been happening since about 2005. A fellow has decided that he's going to make a junkyard out of his property. And our zoning and code does not permit that. But our zoning and code officer hasn't done much about it. They went to court in 2006. And I don't know if they fined him at that point, but he's in violation of a court order, or was. And off and on, his name is Stocker. He runs a salvage business, picking up used cars, trucks. He takes the tires, rims, fenders, dismantles the vehicles, sells used parts. And in doing that, he has 2 trucks that go up and down Fish Lake Road. And we have nothing but potholes. As soon as it rains, those trucks tear up the road. And it's just been one heck of a problem when you hear one neighbor yelling across the road at the other neighbor because they're at each other's throats about him doing this. He has right now a box off of a truck blocking his driveway so you can't see what's in there. And on top of that, he's nailed a 4x8 sheet of plywood. Now this is not yesterday, this has been going on for over a month now. He's plowed up dirt, so he has a berm in front of his place. He has tarps, when I say tarps, canvas, hanging in the trees. And I guess if we were, press quick, it wouldn't happen. You would do something about it. But all I hear when I call the office, well, I'm glad you told us about it. We'll see what we can do. We'll talk to the attorney. Well, about a month ago, they went to court and he got fined. But the box is still there. What he did was he took all the junk off his property, went around the corner and put it on one of his, quote, employees. He doesn't have any because he doesn't pay employment taxes or anything. So he took it over there, and when I went there, they blocked me off, asking me, what am I doing, following them? I wasn't following them, I was looking for a piece of property for my son. But in the meantime, Lisa went there, he blocked her off and called the police. Now, I don't know that she got a ticket for going on private property, but all he did was move his operation around the corner. And this is going on constantly. There's always some aggravation. He's intimidating. My wife went to the barn, and he's sitting there in his truck looking at her. Highland's a very nice place. We don't need that aggravation. You talk about marijuana, this is worse. And this has been going on for 11 years. Now, Rick has an appointment set up with the attorney. Why do we have an attorney? You have codes and zoning on the books that should be enforced. And all I get is verbiage. Rick has been good, but I gotta tell you, your zoning officer stinks. She doesn't do anything about it. And why should we tolerate it? Why should I have to go to court? Why are they telling me, well, if the neighbors would go to court, why should we go to court? You have zoning, you have the laws there. Why isn't it being enforced? And that's my question. Why not? What's going on? Worse than hell, you have no idea. My kid was emptying the trash last week from my truck. He thought it was me. When I say he thought, the garbage man, junk man, and he took his truck and ran by him and covered him up with mud. But he thought it was me, and he didn't get me. But this guy's nuts. He's really a problem. He's been all over. He's been on Milford Road. He's been all over the place. And I don't know what his problem is, and I don't care. But there's nothing wrong with Highland and nothing wrong with Fish Lake Road, and we enjoy our homes and we take care of them. But I don't need a junkyard across the street. Sweet and simple. Nobody does. So my question is, why does it take 11 years, 2 court dates, and still all I hear is, well, we gotta go see the attorney. Let me start a junkyard. It's good money in it. I can sell my property for good money if I started a junkyard. Or another business, but we're not allowed to do that. Why is he allowed to do it? Why isn't it being taken care of? Why do we have to call and call and call and get nothing for an answer? Gee, that was nice that you called and informed us. That's all we get. It's bull crap. Nobody wants that. My wife's upset. My neighbor's wife's upset. There are other people upset. And this guy's still doing it. So I don't know how to get an answer, and I'm not sure that the attorney's an answer. What's he gonna tell you? He's gonna run the clock on his book, so we can pay more money? We have codes in zoning. My question is, why isn't it being enforced, and why not now? And why is he allowed to have tarps hanging? If it was Prestwick, you wouldn't allow it to happen. I can just see somebody putting up 2 telephone poles in a tarp.
All right, thank
Done.
you, Hank, I appreciate it very much.
I'd like to get an answer though.
Well, the answer was that, and I wanna pass this along to everybody that's here. Hank, Mr. Netza came into my office a couple of different times, and they've asked me these questions. And the irony is, most people believe that the township supervisor rules everything. It turns out that's not the case. By law, I'm not allowed to be involved in those particular scenarios. Now, there is the scenario that we have employees. My job is to oversee employees. So just last week he came in and he asked a question that was, just made total sense. What can we do about this? And the typical thing that happens to you when you're in my position, you go, gee, I don't know what to tell you. Well, what it really said to me was, I get answers from our in-house official. I don't know if I'm getting all the answers. I don't know what the real answer is. I don't know the law. So he said he'd like to talk to our attorney. And my comment was, I can't tell you that you can talk to our attorney, but I will find out what we can do.
No, what you said was,
You personally.
it's our dime.
Right.
And then I said to you, where do you get your dimes from?
So anyways, the point was that we have an opportunity where I called our attorney, I said, you know, here's the problem. We have people that want to get something done, what do we do? This was a scenario where I said, what we need to do is we need to have our in-house ordinance officers sitting there with our attorney and the 2 neighbors that are most highly affected by it, and hear out of our attorney's mouth what we're going to do about it. And we need an answer to it. And there's gonna be an answer. And that's, you know, we have to set that appointment up in the next week here. And so that's, you know, I appreciate that you come in. It's really aggravating to me as well, because I drove out there to look at it, and I asked the same question. What do we have to do to get this guy in compliance? And it's like, why do you have an ordinance if you can't force something to happen? Now, we've dealt with the police, we've flown over his property with the helicopter, we've taken videos, he's gone to court. The other side of that is that we have the judicial side that says, who's against who? Now, this is essentially a civil case that's driven by ordinance. The civil case is neighbors not being neighborly. And in order to drive that point home, yes, the judge wants to see you there. When the judge doesn't see the complainant there, they look at it with less of an intensity. That's the judicial system. We don't control that. So if you and your neighbor had been there, it would have been 10 times the weight. But I don't know what the answer would be. So we're going to find out.
The last time my neighbor went, the judge's comment to him, to my neighbor, was, you got too much time on your hands, fellow.
Yeah, see, that's why it's
Okay.
a problem.
So, why do we have zoning then? I mean, we have zoning in Highland, and ordinances, and we have a zoning officer. Why aren't they enforcing or ticketing or doing what's necessary to bring them into compliance? I don't think you need an attorney. I don't think you need a judge. I think you need to fine them and continue to fine them until, you know, money talks, the rest walks, you know.
Yep.
It's just that sweet and simple. He shouldn't be able to have a business there unless he gets a zoning variance. If you guys wanna give it to him, that's something else.
Okay, I appreciate your comments,
Sorry.
and I'm glad you came in tonight, because it's important for everybody to know the kinds of things that do happen in Highland. Some aren't so sweet.
Well, I mean,
And that
he's
one's
got
not
other
sweet.
people in other places fixing cars and dismantling cars, which is wrong also, but that's another story.
Yeah, this is egregious though, so, okay,
Just one real quick comment or question, because I might have an issue someday down the road as well. What happens if, isn't it a township issue if the zoning is being broken? It's not me or it's not him, it's a township issue, so he shouldn't be the one having to file the suit, isn't that correct?
No, there's still, the issue is between parties. If you have a complaint, most of the ordinance
But if
has to
somebody's
say
not following in our zone,
Yeah,
isn't there a township that's going to stand up and say, hey, you're not following our zoning laws?
we do that, and we do it by a process that's ticket them. You gotta give them X number of days. If they don't pay that, then you ticket them again, give them X number of days.
So that's
If they
just what
don't
he's
do
asking
that,
for then.
then you take them to court. You gotta set court dates. This stuff pushes into months, years.
Right, but this shouldn't be on the homeowner, this is a township ordinance that should be handled by the township, correct?
I don't disagree with that. I think
Okay.
that's probably it. But it helps if you have a complaint to go in and complain
That's
about
what's
it.
gonna happen.
Right.
The courts are looking at it apparently from a different perspective.
Gotcha.
We have ordinances, but they're looking at it differently too, so, it's, to me, it's more often than not, the wrong people don't get slapped.
I was just trying to understand, cause I'm not sure about
Yes,
that.
I know.
But one more thing, you have to be diligent and follow up and do something about it.
That's correct.
Township is not doing that.
That's correct. And
You're
your point-
ignoring it and passing the buck on to me and my neighbor or anybody else.
Right.
So we're gonna fight with our neighbor, so we gotta call the police and make a police report for a township
Right,
zoning.
and I think what
violation.
your case here is, and that the board needs to see this, that's why he's speaking, is that this is an issue of a position that's having issues, not performing.
I think you have to take care of it before somebody gets hurt.
Well, that's the thing we're worried about, is we don't know what this guy's doing. Well,
This guy's
so,
loose cannon.
we're gonna have to move on, from that topic, but I appreciate you coming in, and it's important.
My comment would be, because we have dealt with this, I'm in Harvey Lake Estate subdivision, and we've had 3 homeowners that it got so bad, people moved out. Why is the fine so little? They pay it and they just go on. Why not increase the amount of the fine?
I don't have an answer for that.
I think it's only $100 the first time, it's something
Well, he
ridiculous.
got fined 1,000.
Yeah, but even 1,000, what's that do?
That was nothing. The judge would have gone 2,000, but the township asked for 1,000. But the judge wanted to put 2,000, but that's nothing.
Yeah. All right,
Change the value.
that may be something we are going to look at this very deeply.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you coming in. And we're not doing it just because you showed up here, because we've been talking about it all along. But this is a good point of view,
Rick,
and
the
it's.
buck's gotta stop someplace, and was that your office that it had to stop?
It's not your shoulder. It's passing the buck. No. I do appreciate your coming in. And I appreciate your honesty in the times you've come into my office too. And it's important, these are things that are learning curve for every public official. So, thanks for your comments on that, and we're gonna move on. Unless anybody else has any more public comment, we're moving on. Thank you. Okay, next item, emergency vehicle bid process for the fire department. Your turn.
I was trying to help with process. As I included in the board packet, a rather lengthy document,
68 pages.
Since October of 2016, we established a truck committee. Our current fleet is getting older in age. NFPA recognizes a frontline pumper as 10 years. The last time we bought a frontline pumper was 2007. We bought 2 of them at that time. At that time, it was approximately $480,000 per vehicle. So in 2007, we put out just under $1 million. That's not practical or budgetarily fiscally responsible. So we're trying to come up with a process to replace our vehicles in a scheduled or timely manner. In all these meetings, we've done our due diligence, researching different NFPA standards, different OSHA standards. We looked at maintenance costs, we visited different departments to see what kind of vehicles are out there. We've been to different conferences and seminars trying to figure out what's best gonna suit our community. And with that all in mind, we did come up with a recommendation. The vehicle that we would like to recommend is a vendor-specific type vehicle. We're very fortunate that another community in our county has created a bid proposal, 3-year contract with this specific vendor, which will allow us to basically, if we took their bid process, we could basically take the vehicle, pick whatever options we wanted on it, make the presentation for purchase. They've done all the legwork, they've done all the research, all the advertising, everything that they need to do to meet required bid processes. They've established all that, and that was the lengthy stuff that I sent you in the packet. I'd like to request that we accept Rochester Hills bid process so we can move forward to the next step of looking at fire truck.
Okay, so to try and make that easier so we can put this into some verbiage, I'll make the motion that the board consider accepting the RFP for fire apparatus conducted by Rochester Hills in lieu of conducting further RFPs. I think that kind of makes the statement you're trying to make.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, but you can't make that motion, so.
Support. I have a question.
Yes.
They're giving that to us freely?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. They did go through the mitten process, which the mitten process is a statewide bidding process. And anybody in the state can bid from it, and it's no charge to us.
Okay.
And they've already gotten the lowest prices that you can get.
So I meant for the proposal package.
Yeah.
That's right, okay.
All right, it was moved and supported. Vote please.
All right, Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Excuse me, who supported that?
Really bad.
Mayor Pat.
Very bad.
Sorry.
Where's the tie?
You're saying holding over here.
Okay, the next thing, I guess, Chief, if you'll just explain the blue card training program.
I think it'd be easier if I just read the letter that I sent you guys.
Sure.
With any fire department operations, team management is key to firefighter safety, citizen safety, and incident management. With paid on call department, we have several variables associated with scene management, unknown resources, and a career department. You are aware of your staffing on a day-to-day basis. Individuals are assigned a vehicle. Each member has their assigned task for the day. Paid on call department, we do not have that luxury. Depending on the day, we may have 2 or 17 or no personnel responding from home. Second item, standardized training. Every effort is made to maintain a standardized training program. Unfortunately, we must work around the members' primary employment and obligations. Most of our staff work more than 40 hours at their primary place of employment while still contributing time serving their community. Water supply, only a small portion of our community is covered by hydrant systems. Most of the fires are extinguished using alternate water sources, tanker shuttles, and porta tanks. This operation is a complex task in itself. Personnel are allocated to this operation and cannot be used for fire attack. MAVIS, Mutual Aid Box Alarm System. This is a predetermined resource system for requesting additional equipment and personnel from surrounding communities. The resources are added by box groups to assist fire operations, water supply, and special needs, hazmat, technical rescue, IMS, etc. While fire departments are similar, most departments have varied operational policies and procedures. These variances add to the difficulty of scene management. These are just a few of the issues the incident commander deals with every incident. There is currently a program available locally that will assist and improve our incident management skills. The program is called Blue Card Training. Blue Card was developed by retired Fire Chief Alan Brunacini from the Phoenix Fire Department. Blue Card is the next generation of incident command system. The incident command system was introduced to the fire service in 1968 and has been continually refined through the last 4 decades. It is based on 3 priorities of incident management, life safety, property conservation, and, based on three priorities: life safety, property conservation, and incident mitigation. Currently, there are two locations locally that we can receive this training from. One is RAFT, Regional Alliance for Firefighters, firefighter training. It's $985 per student. Or our neighboring community of Heartland has offered it up for $696.50. One of the $985 from RAFT, that's pretty common across the board. Over the past 4 months, we've really worked a great relationship with our partners to the west, Livingston County, Heartland Fire Department. They are doing us a major solid by discounting the prices of the online as well as the module that you have to go through to become certified. It's about $300 cheaper than what we pay anywhere else. This training is just going to bring everybody up to speed. You'll get all my command staff on the same page as far as fireground operations. A lot of us haven't been to schools in our department for a number of years, and learning the new techniques, new processes, new standards will not only protect our community, protect our firefighters, and make scene operations a much safer operation.
Anybody have any questions on that? No.
Any question?
I'll help with the motion on that one. I move to approve our, to enroll our fire command staff in the Blue Card training and certification program with the Heartland Deerfield Fire Authority. For dollars and cents purposes, I'll put the total cost of training will be not to exceed $8,000 for the 11 officers.
I'm sorry, 61.
We'll put it at 8,000, so you just.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote please.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Good job on being good partners with Heartland.
Yeah,
That's
great.
We sent out a tanker truck last week, right, a couple days ago. We go to Highland, we sent a tanker over there, but it's not just Highland. We've always had a great relationship with Warford, but over the past, again, 4 to 6 months, we've been called over to White Lake numerous times, we've been called up to Nakba numerous times. Really, because of the paid-on-call system, we don't have the luxury of knowing who we have on staff, so we really rely on neighboring departments, and we're really building those relationships back up so that we can have that trust and confidence that if we call them, they'll come, or if they call us, we'll come.
Say something real quick. I just really appreciate the texts. It's nice to be in the loop,
It's
what's
great.
going on.
Yeah.
Not that we're rushing up there to see what's going on, because I'm sure you don't want us around up there, but it's nice to know when there's some serious stuff going on. I appreciate that.
Well, sometimes it would be nice, because that way I don't have to talk to the news media.
Thanks.
Not
That's right.
On the note of, being informed, I've been given the privilege of having a app on my phone that is used by the fire department that is a direct connection pretty much with 911. And as a public official, you don't really realize, because you're not always near the station to hear the sirens go off, you don't realize how many times these firefighters go out, and not just for fires, but for medical emergencies. And by having this application, I cannot tell you how many times they go out. I mean, an example, last night, there was a call over at the feed store. A woman fell down, hurt herself. There were 2 more calls after that for medical emergencies. Just so you got 8:22 in the evening, and then bing, and then bing, again. So, and by having this, it's just scroll one after another, and in 1 month, there's just hundreds of calls that go out. And these medical emergencies they're there at their door, and they're there to help. And we really need to understand how valuable that is to us. And it's kind of hidden. You don't really see it unless they're showing up at your door or they pass you on the road. but they are constantly on the road. I mean, it's amazing how many runs that are made by our fire department and their trained, EMTs, I guess we still call them EMTs, or?
Yep.
So, on that note, thank you, Chief, for, allowing me to have that knowledge. I mean, it is some very private stuff, but, it's really a tool that helps me to understand better, and I can impart that on our board of why we need to support this fire department. And, I think the biggest thing that comes to my mind is when our tax dollars are being paid out, when you look at your bill, you pay $150 a year for your garbage. On average, you pay $150 a year for your fire protection. What's worth more to you? That's what we have to look at going forward. This is a team of players that are giving themselves to us, and we're paying them the price of our garbage. And I think that's kind of a sad way to approach it. So going forward, if you're asked, to look at your tax bill, and when it comes time for potential millage or renewal of millage, keep that in mind. It's pretty important that we have the resources available for everybody to be able to have that show up at your door on call. And so think about that. So if the fire department asks for a millage, don't treat it as, more taxes. Treat it as absolute health and safety. And so kudos to the fire department, and it's really it makes me feel a lot more comfortable knowing that they're out there all the time and within minutes. That's the other thing too. So thanks again, Chief, we appreciate it. All right, next item, a year ago, we've been dealing with this for a long time. Marathon Oil owns the parcel on the southwest corner of M59 and Milford Road. They've mitigated the toxic problem they had with the gas station that was there. There was a part of the, I guess you'd call mitigation is that they agreed to bring, or they were required to bring water to 3 homes that are off of Ruggles and North St. John, which abut the property, and they agreed that they would pay for that cost. Well, the irony is that you don't just bring a 1-inch pipe across the road from our water system, you have to bring a 16-inch pipe. So that project is, $500,000 plus or minus, and Marathon Oil is paying for it. So it's actually an extreme bonus to have that pipe at least get across the road, so that there will be at least one hydrant in downtown to start. But it's an extremely expensive thing to do. But they're going to pay for that, and the engineering's done, and we've gotten our documentation back from our lawyers. We have, I believe, vetted all of the information in it, and in order to move forward, we need to approve that agreement and authorize my signature on the document. So I'll make the motion to get that started. Make the motion to approve the agreement with Marathon Oil to produce, or to put in the water main from under M59, and to authorize the township supervisor and the clerk to sign that agreement.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Any discussion on that?
Should we put with corrections, because everybody got a copy of the corrected page 2?
Yeah, with corrections.
Okay, ready to vote?
Yep, go please.
All right, Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, the next step to that is who's gonna put it in. And ironically, last year, we thought this was gonna happen May of last year, and we went out for bids, and there was a contractor that won the bid. It's Joe Rika Construction Company. And then it turned out that Marathon drug its feet, and we accepted the bid to do so, and this company agreed to hold its numbers under control, not to exceed more than 5%. increase. And so we could have lost that process and had to go through it again. So, I'll make the motion that we award the contract to Joe Riker Construction Company contingent upon receipt of funds by Marathon as outlined in the agreement, and further subject to a cost increase of not more than 5% of the bid amount.
I have a question about this, though. The bid
Should we get a support
Oh,
first?
okay.
Support.
Okay, now
Okay,
discussion.
thank you, sorry about that. I don't see the total price, is it because you can't really give that? It's broke down by each section of the work, but I wondered what the total price was.
That was in our, I was wondering that too, Mary Pat.
Did I look in the wrong place
It's a
for
mess.
it?
It was in
Yeah, it's-
September's.
Oh, okay.
It's actually,
Yeah, I did print it up.
part of the
Here, I've got it right here.
Okay.
So here's the second page.
Okay, that's what I didn't have, is that second page there.
And that number is,
So-
we might as well,
It's 4,118,578.50.
yeah.
Did I say that right?
There's
Five
one.
hundred, 418,000.
Right.
Sorry, I can't read math. 418,578.50 Thank you. That's why I wanted you to say it, Rick. And then that's plus the 5%, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just so I, thank you.
That doesn't include, that's the original
That
bid.
doesn't, that's
Yeah,
actually.
so it's not to exceed 5%. So we'll get a final number, I think we do have.
The numbers in the,
on that sheet that was.
the numbers here, the total with, the cost to connect the parcels and abandon the wells, the $30,000, plus engineering costs of $60,000, administration fees of $8,000, and the construction plus 5% from the last bid is $439,507, for a grand total of $564,382.
Anybody else like to add some cost to that? We can,
So which is the amount, 5,000 or 4?
500 and what?
$564,382. To run a pipe from M59.
And to go from one side of M59 to the other, and put in a fire hydrant probably, so. All right, so, it's been motioned and supported.
You ready to vote?
Yes, please?
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right, the next item was what we added, that's item E, demolition, and I passed that, pictures. You guys? Brian, you have the pictures? This is a piece of property.
Oh, okay.
Piece of property that, the individual that owns it, claims they have no money. It's burnt, partially burnt, and it's been that way for over a year, and they're not willing to demolish it. We have neighbors on both sides, so it's an unsafe situation, and so what happens is, he's probably gonna let it go back to the county, and it puts it on our shoulders to do the demolition. So what'll happen is it'll go on the, against the taxes, so it'll be a tax lien. And the amount is $6,400.
And we sought bids.
Pardon?
We
We
sought
sought-
bids and we only received the one.
Where did you advertise it?
He had it, they did it out of the building department,
Steve did it.
yeah.
We couldn't even get anybody to respond except for this company right
We
here.
called several contractors and they declined to bid on it. They're just too busy with other work.
And Mr. Howe, can you tell us the address of that? It's on
Oh, I got it, okay, it's 3235 Oak Ridge. Oh, I see now, but this is one set of pictures. Oh, I can.
Getting all the debris out. It includes removing all the debris.
Yep, and all fields are cleaned. And there's several, it's tear down and remove all material, includes discard of building material to approve landfill or recycling facility. And there's a couple of sheds and there's a lot of crap, an old trailer, it's a slab house, so.
Any utilities that have to be?
They've all been shut down and disconnected. So everything's ready to go, we just need to make it happen and get it done. And this is one of these scenarios where how long do you wait for your neighborhood to look better? And
Right.
there's a year right there, you know, and trying to make that process happen. So it's not something you can just run in and shred it and walk away, because we'd be in trouble with that. So, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to proceed with the demolition as specified.
Support?
Been moved and supported. Vote please.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
All right, list of bills.
And we have an add-on sheet that was emailed out to everyone and provided also.
Move to approve list of bills as presented with the additional ones added today.
Support?
Okay, moved and supported.
I have a question. In the DDA minutes, it, recorded there that you told the DDA that the township was gonna cover the DDA light bill.
Correct.
And that was never agreed to by this board, or any board, previously, to pay for those lights. When that light installation went in, that was a responsibility of the DDA and the residents and businesses that are benefiting from those lights. And I don't, believe that that's appropriate.
Well, I disagree with you from the standpoint that those belong to the township. The DDA is the township. And the DDA put the lights in there, and they have a limited lifespan, and they will not be paying for the lights after their lifespan expires. And we also pay right now, Mary, for the lights that are on the boulevard. And guess who put those in?
That is township property. This is not, and this was not a project asked for by the township. It was a DDA project. It was a separate entity, Rick, you know that. And I find it very self-serving for you to say that when you own property in that area. You know, it's not
Doesn't matter.
something that the township ever agreed to do. In fact, it was very specific that we were not going to pay that bill.
Do you have a document that says that? I don't see one anywhere.
Where'd you look?
There's no document available that says it. Number one, the DDA did the project, paid for the project out of the taxpayers' dollars that are in that district.
That's right,
Those
because
are
they
the-
control those DDA funds.
The taxpayers pay for your light that's not on, at the end of your street that you don't wanna
That's
take
right.
out.
But
Why?
at the
It's
time-
not on township property.
At the time, that was the agreement. The township, the residents, and I wasn't living there then, installed the light and the township paid the light bill. As we do for, I didn't even know how many other lights, Mrs. Hansford
147.
could tell us that because she did a light study, which I still would like to see a copy of, by the way. But that's a different scenario, Rick. This is something specifically requested and paid for by the DDA. That was the discussion when that went in, that the township board would not pay for those lights, for the electricity for those lights.
I never saw it or heard it.
You weren't here then.
Is there something?
I certainly was here.
Somewhere that says that?
I don't know, I haven't looked.
I mean, that would be the, obviously, we obviously need that for support what you're saying.
Well, we can make
How-
a motion to do so. I make a motion that the township pay for the electricity for the DDA streetlights. If you wanna call them DDA streetlights, they're township streetlights. It's a township asset.
What is the cost? What is the cost of those lights? Is it on here? I'm missing something.
Actually, what we can do is, I'm gonna withdraw that motion, and I have some other documentation that is gonna be presented at the next meeting for upfitting those lights to LED to reduce that cost and to show the savings that would be involved in it. So we'll have that conversation at that point in time.
Okay, that'd be better.
All right,
We
so,
have a motion to
approve.
approve the list of bills.
So we've had that supported.
Okay,
Vote.
so, Mrs. Chenoweth?
Yes.
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 Because those lights are on our bill, I'm saying no.
Yes.
And yes.
Motion carries.
All right, public comment.
I have one.
Yes.
As the Highland DDA director. Again,
regardless of where those lights are, they are benefiting the township and will for a long time. There are a lot of supporters of the downtown and have talked very highly of the improvements that have been done by the DDA. So I disagree with that comment that was made. That it doesn't.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have to say that if in fact it was something that was not supposed to be paid for by the township, then I agree with what Mary is, it needs to go back to the table to be revoted for the township to pay for it.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
We'll take care of that at the next
Okay,
meeting.
I mean, it doesn't, if that's the way it is, that's the way it is, but it should stay right to those rules until we change them.
Yes, ma'am.
What does the DDA stand for?
Downtown Development Authority.
Oh, thank you.
It's good that the students are here paying attention tonight, this is good. Good question.
Yes.
I just had a question on, the bill for the construction, for the water main. Judy, you mentioned a total of $564,302 with a 5% increase. Are we paying for that, or is Marathon paying for that? And, pardon? Marathon. And then in that figure was, fire hydrant included, and if it was, where is it gonna be placed in the?
I can't say for sure at this point whether there is a fire hydrant. There is a termination at Ruggles. So there's a possibility it'll be terminated and have a hydrant there, but we'll have to look at the engineering plans to see if that's actually there.
And that would be a cost to the township then, right, for the hydrant?
Possible, but we may be able to get Marathon to cover that. We'll have to ask. Yes, sir?
Okay, how many streetlights are in the DDA versus how many are in the whole township?
There's 22 streetlights currently in the DDA district. There's 147 streetlights that are on a open pay basis that belong to DTE. There's 54 streetlights that belong to the township that were installed by the DDA that are on the boulevard and library.
Is there any, thought about taking out the double lighting in the downtown? I mean, you've got Edison going across all the way through the downtown, and now you've got the walking lights, so we're basically double paying to light that area. So,
Yes, there is. In fact,
are you gonna move forward on that? Cause that was part of the study and suggested that we remove some of the double lighting down there. 'Cause it's
actually, I had a conversation with our lighting person from DTA because of what brought up the, removing the lights in the first place was how they wanted to charge us for LEDs. And since that time, what's happened is there's a number of communities that have really thrown up a stink over the way Edison has approached that. So what I'm doing is coming from that direction and saying, let's talk more realistically about the value of those lights and what they save. For instance, if we wait till next week, I have a document that will show how much you can save on the lights, the 22 lights alone that are in the DDA district. And it's pretty staggering. They pay for themselves in less than 2 years. And in a 10-year period, you will save over $24,000. So to look at it from that perspective, that's 22 lights. If you're to, and it's approximately like an 80% reduction in usage. Well, we're not getting that out of Edison. They're playing that game. So that's what I want to try and play with them on is, if we're going to play this game, let's do it realistically. You guys put them in and we'll pay for them at that basis. But we're not going to give you $50,000 up front. And then you'll give us a discount of $10,000 and charge us the difference. It doesn't make sense when you can save way more money. They're saving that much more money on those lights.
But to my original question, you have double the lighting in the downtown.
At
So
that time, we'll
are you
ask
gonna
them to
take out
remove
the
those.
overhead lighting and
Yes.
just leave the walking lighting and reduce
Right.
that cost?
We'll ask them to remove those at that time. Thanks, Lynn, I appreciate that. Any other comments?
I got one thing. I
Yeah.
just wanna thank Missy. I've kind of been a not as involved as I have been in the concert committee, been very busy with other things, but she's done a great job putting another great lineup together for the concert, so I'm sure it's gonna be coming out pretty soon.
Yep.
So, very well, I got the email the other day, and I'm very impressed, and I just wanna say thanks, she works very hard at that, and, so thank you for that.
By the way, those concerts are put on by the Downtown Development Authority,
Come out.
Thank you.
which are paid for by capturing taxes within the Downtown Authority District that would not go to, that would normally go to Oakland County and other entities, and they're used in that district. And this is part of the Downtown Development Authority District. So what it does is it amplifies the value of the tax dollars without adding additional tax costs to the individuals in the township or the district. So it's a total cost savings as opposed to giving everybody else a tax increase. It's really it's an awesome system, but it can be abused. So that's it's hard to understand, it's worth looking into and worth learning about, but that's how it happens. So, all right, any other public comment? All right, thank you for coming tonight, appreciate it. Dawson, great job. Meeting adjourned.
Who's your guys' teacher? Okay. Tell him I look like I stayed awake the whole meeting, 'cause he always seems to text me and say my kids are sleeping, and I never slept well. So, he worries too much about me. Nice hat, by the way.
Yeah, I think it was boring.